I am at one of the fastest racetracks in Britain, and today I'm taking out a car that I'm not too keen on. I don't mind the Corolla, but thankfully it's not that. But you will find out in today's video. Let's get into it.
You hand everything over to them.
And it's the weight of the car pushing those tyres into the tarmac that helps the car.
All signed in, let's go out on track. So this is the car, this is the inside. It's pretty, well, BMW-like, that's for sure. But it's quite pretty. Just shut that for a sec. Get a little video of it. I've never been a massive fan of BMWs, but here we are in the M2. I mean, it's as you expect. It's quite, yeah, all the digital clocks as well. I wasn't expecting that, but looks alright. Now, of course, I'm not the only one out on track in the BMW M2. As you can see on screen, Tiff Needell also has his M2 doing passenger rides. Now, some people might be saying, why are you going out in a BMW M2 if you're not too keen on it? That's a very good question, but it all stems from going to the Morgan factory and taking out one of their cars. Little did I realise that their cars have the BMW engine inside, which is why I thought it was applicable to actually go to Thruxton and try it out on a track that I absolutely love and give it the full beans. Now, this is also where I find out if I do actually dislike BMW as much as I think I do, or if it actually has a soft spot within me. My car is back in, the other person who's taking it out with me, he's just come back in off track. I'm about to go out now. This is going to be quite exciting. Let's go. Now, anytime you go out onto a racetrack, you are always shown by an instructor where the lines are, where the cones are, and how to take corners. This is what the first few laps are all about, so this is what's happening on screen right now. And of course, as you can expect, it's at a steady pace. Tiff Needell doing his thing. Tiff's taxis. And off he goes to the toilet. As I make my way around the track for the first ever time, you can see how happy I am. And it is here that we continue for another 2 laps around Thruxton's race circuit. Oh my goodness, we nearly hit that car. God, that was close. Luckily, it wasn't me driving. Now, there is a massive misconception about track driving that a lot of people don't really understand, and that is to take your first few laps steady. It doesn't matter how quick you're going, you don't need to set world record times or try to be Lewis Hamilton on track for the first few laps. It is all about getting to know the vehicle that you're in, how it reacts, and how you can take the corners. That way you can set yourself up for the next lap around. Now, take note of the Audi R8 in front of me with its V10 engine and 562 brake horsepower. It doesn't seem to be any match for the BMW M2 because I learnt the track and use it to its capabilities, even though it only has around 473 brake horsepower. Now, even though the R8 has a lot more horsepower than the BMW, I managed to overtake him with ease. It's because he didn't go into the corner correctly and he didn't use the apexes as he was told, which gave me the opportunity to overtake and to build up speed. As you can see, I'm going into the next corner without even braking. Now, at this point I had been out on track for an extra few laps, and then we came back in to re-evaluate how I did, and the instructor told me some of his comments of how we could do it better the next time around. Okay, so I've just come back from my 5 laps. I'm going to go back out in a bit, just after the other guy's gone out for his next few laps. Overall, I'd say the feedback was pretty positive. He's yet to rate it in numbers on the chart, but I'm hoping it's going to be 8s. It's what I usually get. I've been on track with quite a few of the racing drivers here. The majority of them are starting to recognise me, which is good, and they keep showing up in different places. So I went to the Porsche Experience Centre up at Silverstone, and one of the people who took me out in the Renault Megane RS, we ended up going into 911 GT3 RS at Silverstone, when you can find that over on the channel. So why track driving? Well, it's quite simple, is that it gives you the momentum for the rest of your life. You're setting yourself up for the corners, you're setting yourself up of looking ahead into the future, into what's coming next around the next corner, and it's just a good metaphor for how we live our lives, and that's why I kind of do it. And it also gives me a chance to stop and pause in the moment, because I've stopped doing that recently, especially with work. I'm so busy with work lately that I don't have anything to take my mind off of it, and this really does, because all I can think about in the moment is what I'm going to be doing on track in the next corner, and yeah, it's quite exciting. So make sure you get yourself a track day. They're not overly expensive, and I used my Christmas bonus to buy this one, so it's on the company. Amy has kindly said that she'd film a few clips, so all the clips that you see on this, on track, are from her. She's actually just stood over here. Where is she? There she is. I don't know if she knows that's not me on track at the moment. The other person that I was sharing the car with came back into the pits. He parked the vehicle up and swapped seats with the instructor, David, who was also my instructor, and they went out together for a fast action lap to finish off his experience. I try and get on the racetrack quite often. It's more so because I want to figure out what I'm doing in life, and this is a really good grounder for me. It basically gives me the clarity of what I'm doing. It also gives me a new lesson of not being so big-headed. You think you know everything until you hit a barrier. That's never happened as of yet, but you know, it could happen, and I think you have to be humble with what you're doing, especially when driving. As the Lamborghini escorted the M2 back in, they had finished their hot lap within a minute and a half, which meant that it was time for me to jump in the driving seat and to go out for my further laps. Now, the more that I drove the BMW, the more exciting it was becoming, and the sounds as well. Listen to this. The big sign on the left saying slow means that I add a little bit of brake before accelerating out of the corner. The laps were getting better and better, and David was really keen to push me on some of the corners, especially these ones here. With David being a racing driver himself, he knew that I was trying to push myself into the corners, which is why he gave me an extra few laps. It also gave me the opportunity to be on track at the same time as Tiff Needell, and it was fun to start racing at one point with Tiff as he came up behind me doing about 150 miles per hour as I was pootling along at a steady 130. Not only were my laps getting quicker, but also my lines were getting cleaner, and David was really pushing me on these last few corners. With both of us being pretty impressed with the progression, we started to slow down onto these last few corners, and then I give a flash of the lights before coming into the pits. We park up into the pits, we swap seats, we put helmets on, and then we're ready to go out for a fast lap around Thruxton. This is where David showcased his driving ability, and you can see it all on camera right now. insane. Maybe only now do I appreciate the quality and the build of the BMW and its capabilities to be able to be pushed that hard and to do it really well. Have I overlooked the BMW for too long? Well, maybe. But do I regret it? Not really, because I've driven some fantastic cars, and although this won't be one that sticks in my mind as a go-to car on track, it will be one that I remember of David pushing it to its full capabilities and learning that not only are these cars popular amongst demographic, but also a cheap car if you want to start out on track for the very first time. Now, I'm not a big fan of the BMW, but I've just got out of it and it was actually quite exciting. I'm just going to go through the card. My instructor gave me all of the grades, as it were. So looking at that, you can see it's 9s and 8s. Like I said, I was expecting 8s and only 8s, but yeah, on the approach I got 9. On my lines I got 9. On the steering, 8. I had to be a little bit smoother. He was a bit cautious of that. Braking, 9. Gear change, really good, even though he also said to keep it in auto, but I didn't. I did the flappy paddle and it was really easy to do. And pace as well, 8 for that as well, which is fantastic. Overall score of 85, so that's pretty good going. And some of the comments actually inside. So you've got session 1, which was a good drive, smooth and good lines apparently, and that's when he said about doing the braking. I had to improve on the braking, which is what we did in session 2. He said great progression, fantastic news, thank goodness for that. And just struggling to read the handwriting. And he said the braking into the chicane was really good and well done as well. And he gave me an overall of 85%. That's fantastic. Over the whole circuit, one of the things I did struggle on was this back corner. I've always struggled with this one because I don't know if you can see it. Shall we move across a little bit? Just because of the sun, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. But in this back corner going into church, you have to come in and you have to follow the guide of the cones into the corner. And because there's a little Marshall booth in this back corner, it's hard to see around the corner. I've always struggled with it, but today it went fantastic and really excited about that. And then the chicane he was talking about with the bad braking originally, what can you do, was this one where Tiff Needell was doing his sliding. As you can see on screen now, he does it very professionally. But yeah, that was something that I struggled with originally, but I did really well and he gave me a good grade for it. So my teacher is happy, which is good news. But there we are. That's the rundown. So I'm going to say thanks very much for watching. If you got anything from this, make sure you like and subscribe down below, and make sure you check out any other videos as well on the channel very soon. Catch me at the Porsche Centre. I'll pop that up there. Oh, that's good. And also check out the other time where I went on track somewhere there. So there we are. See you soon.